Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to this first official full episode of my podcast. I'm honestly not only excited, but also super nervous because speaking my voice and sharing my story and showing up for a long time has been actually a proper challenge for me. So I'm right now feeling extra proud for going down the podcast route and not only an audio version, but visual as well. So, as a side plug, if you're listening on your fave podcast platform, you can also watch me whilst talking over on YouTube. But over there, we of course will not only have the visual version of my podcast, not at all. I also post daily shorts for extra motivation boosts. And every Wednesday, you get another video about a different topic as well. And I'd love to know where you are tuning in from. So do send me a message where you consumed this episode. But enough about the technicalities. You tuned into this episode to learn more about me, obviously, and to get to know me. So let's dive into the juicy bits, shall we? Right. So whenever I'm asked to tell my story, I honestly struggle a little bit with where to start, and I feel like I leave all important parts out. However, I want to highlight some moments that shaped who I am today and helped me to get to where I am today as well in this story that I'm going to tell you today. Let's go with where I grew up. So I'm originally from Germany, and you might notice a slight accent that I tried very, very hard to unlearn through like binge watching British English learning videos. So much so that some people think I'm from South Africa. And of course, South Africans don't think that at all. But I find it equally fascinating that some people do think that. Anyway, I grew up in Germany, visited high school there, did my A levels, and then, contrary to most others, decided not to study right away, but to do an apprenticeship in Switzerland instead. Simple reason was that I wanted to be financially independent and as soon as possible. So I had to do something that brings in cash money. And I got a spot at my back then dream company in Switzerland where I spent 3 years studying and working like crazy to finish the apprenticeship. And whilst it was intense, the hard work truly did pay off. And not only did I finish best in class, but I also managed to secure an exchange to the UK for 4 months, which I was so stoked about. And for some reason, I have always wanted to move to the UK. Like even before I had even visited it once. I don't know why. It was just like always on my mind, like, I want to live in the UK. And during my apprenticeship, I also fell in love with finance. So I decided my dream career is to eventually become a finance manager of an affiliate in a different country. But before I could jump on the plane to the UK, I spent a couple months in another finance department of the company in Switzerland still, which was honestly not the best time, I dare say, because I started studying at the same time with the international program of the University of London for a bachelor's in economics and management. And back then, I didn't know the concept of slowing down or enjoying life outside work. So I just kept on pushing harder and working harder even more. So you can imagine that the stress level simply increased after the apprenticeship. And on top of that, I had to deal with lots of bullying from my manager. And there were many, many days where I literally forced myself to go to work with tears in my eyes. And in hindsight, it has taught me to do stand up for myself more and to not tolerate being treated like this at work. So it was a really good lesson for me to learn. And also, the approaching date with my one-way flight to the UK was actually the light at the end of the tunnel that kept me going. And as soon as the plane took off, I just felt like it was like one of the biggest reliefs ever. I was finally out of this place that had me feel trapped for so long. And don't get me wrong, like many people absolutely love that area right in the most southwest corner of Germany, thanks to its proximity to like Switzerland and France. But for me personally, it was always more of a cage and a place where I just couldn't be my true self. And I just felt like I didn't belong. It just wasn't home for me. And I had like loads of resentment that I had to let go of over the course of the years as well. So it took me quite a while. And obviously, like this also fueled my desire to leave. And being in the UK was the first time I felt like I could restart my whole life and finally get closer to who I really am. And the 4 months I had spent there went by in a blast. Too fast, honestly, for my liking, as I had to go back to Switzerland. However, the universe luckily had different plans for me, and an opening for a 1 year placement in Finland came up that I lapped up like a starving dog. So my time back in Germany slash Switzerland was luckily not only short lived from a personal perspective, it was rather depressing time as well. So, but luckily this was constrained into like just 1.5 months time. And I had lost one of my cats as well. I fell out with many family members in that time. I had to deal with my back then boyfriend who wasn't too happy, nor supportive about continuing the long distance relationship. But my desire, like to leave and do my thing, was so strong. I just simply couldn't ignore it any longer. So in 2017, I packed my other cat and my bags and traveled alone to Finland to start a new job in a new country where I basically knew no one. But this 1 year abroad has truly been transformational for me. I learned to love my own company and set strong boundaries or cut ties with toxic people. It taught me to choose myself above everything else, and that this is far from being selfish, but actually necessary for true happiness and fulfillment in my life. And I wanted to live my best life ever. So for the first time ever, I got rid of some chuckles that truly held me like back for such a long time. In addition, like after binge watching countless of videos and documentaries, I decided to make the change from being vegetarian to go vegan and haven't looked back since. So that was a big life change. And I also got rather obsessed with anything mindset related, as I already believe our thoughts hold a lot of power. So my mantra always was, I can and I will. And the ones who are watching on YouTube, you can also see it in my background. So this is just like a really bad handwriting version of the one, and I added I am, I can, I will. But the original is actually um like a gray kind of like board that I have had for like at least 12 years or maybe even 15 years. I had it for a long time. And it just says I can, I will. This has literally been my mantra, and I found that in like a German decor shop or something. And this really also fueled my determination and has allowed me to get out of a truly, truly dark place and dark thoughts. That might be actually a story for another episode, to be honest. But in this 1 year, I kid you not, I read every book I could find, listened to countless podcasts, and watched all the YouTube videos I could find. And this is also when I truly got into manifesting. And as I wanted to go back to the UK, I decided to manifest my dream job over there. So, long story short, a position did open up and I applied for it and put in the work and I got it. And this time it was a permanent contract. So, literally, win win. And listen, when I say I was over the moon happy, it would still be an understatement. I was bloody thrilled. Like, I was super, super, super excited. Like, this was honestly my dream come true. So in 2018, I once again packed my bags, sold or got rid of almost all my possessions that I still had back in Germany or Finland, and jumped on the plane to London. And this was the restart I was just dreaming of. I had my dream job in my dream country, and I moved into a house with my cat. Jackpot. Like, honestly, jackpot. And with this new start, I also decided to take radical responsibility over my health and body and signed up to the gym. Up until then, I always thought the gym ain't for me or that I can't stick to things. Like, I kid you not, I was trying literally everything. I was trying horseback riding. I was trying swimming. I was trying karate. I was trying kickboxing. I was trying ballet. Like, honestly, anything and everything I could find or get my hands on, but nothing really ever stuck. Like, nothing really ever blasted me away. Or I did not feel like I did have the determination to really stuck with it. But as I worked like intensively on my mindset the last year, I finally stuck with it and I truly, truly fell in love with the process. And I just loved weightlifting and bodybuilding. And it kind of was like a huge like veil almost had lifted. And you could not get me out of the gym anymore. Like, well, almost. Um, the next years were then filled with lots and lots and lots and lots of work, studying for my degree, difficulties in my relationship that have been growing, like my past relationship, an ever growing desire to also do more. And this just like stuck with me. And what that more was, I honestly did not know at the time, but I longed once again like for different, for having impact and for adding value. And within the realms of corporate finance, this didn't seem achievable, at least for me. Even less so, the more I like got confined within like the traditional thinking in finance. So I started to feel more and more like I was talking against the wall, honestly. And I remember one moment when my eyes like honestly just lit up as we started a sprint team to change up the finance world. And I was like in the first row to sign up for it and got into the new ways of working team. However, like the fire in my eyes got dimmed rather quick because contrary to my understanding that new ways of working starts with changing the mindset, starts within, my team members were like talking about processes and system changes. And I was like, hang on, but this is not new ways of working. New ways of working starts with us. It starts with the employee, right? So determined me kept on banging on about mindset. And some of my colleagues finally also acknowledged it and was following was me participating in several design and sprint teams to like co-shape the future of this finance department. And I loved this work as it was actually like changing something. Like I could see it has an impact on the people to really improve their work-life balance, but also just like how they enjoy the work and everything. So when we created the new finance environment, my responsibilities of course also changed. And I was asked to take over the lead of an ongoing project as the product owner, and little did I know that we all underestimated the vastness of this project. It was I learned so much about leading teams and projects and navigating challenges and like communicating with highly frustrated stakeholders and even got in the finance accelerator program of the company, which was for like high achieving finance folks. I did have to pay like a high price for it in 2020. I burnt out big times. And what I thought like would be like the ticket to my dream role as a finance manager of an affiliate eventually was actually the beginning of days with no energy, high stress levels, constant work, fights, tears, and dread about like the next day. And I still remember like rather vividly how it felt sitting at my desk at home like 10 to 12 hours every day as it was the peak of COVID and staring into the nothingness of my exploding inbox and just like trying to hold it all together. Like literally, I was just like zoomed out and staring at my screen. And it was one of those moments when I was just like staring and zoned out when I made the decision this shit can't go on. Like something needs to change. And I knew instantly 50% of this is due to workload and the other 50% is my mindset. So to reduce the workload, I put my foot down and fought for a change. Another upcoming restructuring was actually then like my golden ticket or like my path out was what I saw as the perfect way out. And the other part was coming back to my strong mind and really reinforcing basically my mindset and also getting support and asking for support. So I looked for a coach to work on it with. And eventually, the universe had my back once again, and I got into a new temporary role that had nothing to do with my old role, which was a big win for me. And I also found a mentor who then turned into my first coach, actually. And we intensely worked on what truly mattered to me, how to deal with the stress, get like clear on my goals, and debunk limiting beliefs, and give my mindset an overhaul. And two major life changes came to be thanks to me reconnecting with myself. So, 2021, the first big change, I left my long term relationship with my ex shortly after we got married, which is another episode as well. And it was an actual fact, the wedding day itself, when I just knew I don't want this. Like, I can't spend the rest of my life with this person. And there's so much power in knowing what you don't want. And as soon as you get clear on that, like other things just fall into place. And the other major change came in the form of my career and my dream job. So after working in that new role for a while, I just knew like this ain't for me. I still feel like I was confined in that box. I was talking against the wall and I just couldn't have the impact I wanted. So after a while, like my coach eventually like, asked me, like, Josie, it sounds like actually being a coach yourself would be something for you. Why don't you do the training? And I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, why don't I try? Like, why don't I do it? Because I really love the concepts of it. I'm so obsessed with anything mindset and I got out so much knowledge and I would love to have more impact and really work with people. So I signed up for the core curriculum training with the Coactive Training Institute. And honestly, I kid you not, from the first second on, I just loved it. I was hooked. I just felt so seen, and my soul was on bloody fire. And my intuition was like screaming at me, "This is it. Like, this is it." And I just knew I had to give this a proper shot. So within a matter of months, I had completely annihilated life as I knew it with my ex gone and a new idea in my head to start my own business as a coach. I announced to not reapply for my old role and instead choose redundancy. And whilst many people said, like, Josie, you're crazy, I was like, no, this actually feels like the best thing to do right now. Like, I could taste the freedom that came with that decision. I just could not resist any longer. And it honestly was like the golden ticket to a new life. And faster than I expected, I had another intuition burst and signed up to Tinder, where I met my now boyfriend and the most incredible partner I could ever have asked for. Zero toxicity and 100% pure love and just respect for another. And I couldn't be happier. So, free of all of these old dreams and burdens, and just supported with my dream man and our two black cats, who you see also in the background roaming around. I just got to work and continued my coach training and certification. So I became a certified professional leadership and mindset coach. And fast forward to today, I have been working and coaching clients worldwide for hundreds of hours and help them change their lives for the better too. Whether it was getting out of toxic relationships themselves, finding dream jobs, creating a better work life balance, getting out of burnout, unlocking their authentic leadership styles, being a better parent, or moving abroad to their dream country. Like, the life choices my clients made through my coaching honestly fills me with much more pride than anything else I have ever done in finance before. And I just finally saw right in front of me the impact my work had and the value I was adding to like countless of people and specifically women. And the huge increase in like life satisfaction for all of them is exactly why I decided to go this path and will continue to do so. And I only just started. So my hope with this podcast is to really help even more people change their life for the better, to find the confidence and self trust within themselves, to take full ownership of their life and radical responsibility when it comes to taking action. Because I truly, truly believe that we are all our own heroes. Like, no one else but you can save you or be the miracle you're waiting for. And I'm here to show you exactly how you can unlock this path and your potential within you. And you already have, honestly, you already have all that you need within, and change starts from within. And this is something I will repeat countless of times, and you will think I'm a broken record, but change truly starts from within. Like, whether you want to start your own side hustle as a single mom, become an inspirational leader in your field, or share your voice with speaking events, or want to create healthy routines and lose weight, or just get back on your own 2 feet after experiencing hardship and burnout, like, I not only can totally relate to you, I also got you. And together we can accelerate your journey. And I already know you can do big things. And I'm already so proud of you. And you might join me on this mission just in the form of this podcast, or even work with me as your coach. But I know, like, whatever you will absorb from this realm of possibilities, it will be that at least 1% change that will shift your life to a completely new outcome if you let it. Like, the choice is truly yours. And I hope you keep on tuning in and take charge. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. No scratchy, scratchy.